What is Gopmaas? Gopmaas, the references are from the SrimadBhagwadPurana and the Bhagavad Gita. Gopmaas commences in the Chir month as per the traditional Sanatan Vedic Hindu lunar calendar and is observed as Gopmaas in Vraj, Vrindavan, Mathura by many Krishna sects, especially Pushtimar. Gopmaas is a month that is considered very dear to Sri Krishna. The staunch Krishna devotees offer daily prayers in the Krishna temples. The Chir is the 9th month in the lunar calendar. The four main Sakhis, Sri Radha, Sri Lalita, Sri Chandravali and Sri Yamuna serve the Lord during each year. Each Sakhi's terms of service lasts for about 3 months. During the winter months of Kartak, Chir and Posh, Sri Lalita ji serves the Lord. Chir, known as Gopmaas, the month of the Gopis. In this month, Kirtans, the Vrat time when the Gopis performed the special pujas to Katyayani Devi. In the Vallabh Sampradaya, this month is considered to be Sarvottam, that is the best amongst all the months. The Lord himself said in the 11th skand of SrimadBhagwadPurana, 11.16.27, and in the Vibhuti Yoga of SrimadBhagwadGita, Shri Krishna also states, Masanam Makshiroham Rutunam Kusumakar. The Utsav and the Nit in the Pushti Marg is based on the SrimadBhagwadPurana. The celebrations during Gopmaas are also based as per the Bhagavad-purana. As per the Ramayana, once Sri Ramchandra ji was passing through a ashram situated in Dandakaranya, inhabiting 16,000 Rishis. The Rishis were mesmerized by the divine charming personality of Sri Ramchandra ji. They requested Sri Ram to accept them as his beloved. Sri Ram promised to satisfy their desire in the Sri Krishna avatar. The Rishis became 16,000 Kumarikas in the Krishna avatar. In the 10th skand of SrimadBhagwadPurana, 22nd slok, this Leela is described as Hemante Prathame Mase Nanda Vraj Kumarika. In the first month of winter, the Vraj Kumarikas, Gopis of Vraj, the little girls of Vraj, performed the Vrat of Katyayani Devi. The Vrat consisted of them waking up before dawn to take a dip in the holy waters of Sri Yamuna. They sang the praises of Sri Hari as they went towards the sacred river, and on the banks of the holy river, they made an idol of Katyayani Devi from sacred sands of Sri Yamuna river, worshipped it with flowers and food. They did this in order to obtain Sri Krishna as their husband. The Acharya Shri Vithalnath ji, also known as Sri Gosai ji, has described the entire Leela in the book called Shungar Ras Mandan. At the end of this fast, Sri Krishna performed the Vastraharan Leela, also known as the Chir Leela. The divine Chir Leela. Many skeptics often question the relevance of the various incomprehensible divine pastimes of Sri Krishna. Chir Leela, or the pastime of Sri Krishna, where he stole the clothes of the Gopis whilst they were taking a bath in the waters of Sri Yamuna, is one of those pastimes. Sri Krishna's Leelas or pastimes are incomprehensible, even some God-realized souls. The divine nectar of these pastimes is experienced only by those most intimate maidens of Vraj, the Gopis, who are constantly engaged in selfless service towards Sri Radha Krishna, being completely oblivious to their own needs desires, or pleasure. This is a very important point to reflect. SrimadBhagwatam, 21st chapter of the 10th, some of the unmarried milkmaidens of Vrindavan, the Kumarika Gopis, were attracted by the irresistible beauty of Sri Krishna and the beautiful melodies of his flute. They secretly desired to have Sri Krishna as their beloved. 22nd chapter of 10th canto further states that this highly fortunate Gopis of Vraj diligently engaged themselves in the pursuit of their heartfelt desire. They would wake up in the morning to take a bath in the river Yamuna, lovingly singing and remembering the names of Sri Krishna and his pastimes. They did not care about what others thought of. For the puja, they made a sand idol of goddess Katyayani Devi and started worshipping her with food and flowers, with an earnest desire to obtain Lord Shri Krishna as their eternal beloved. Their prayer was Katyayani Mahamaya Mahayogendadishwari Nandagopa Sutam Devi Patime Kurute Namah Katyayani Mahamaya Mahayogendadishwari Nandagopa Sutam Devi Patime Kurute Namah. This shlok is from the SrimadBhagwadPurana, chapter 10.22.4. The meaning of this shlok is, O Mahamaya, Mahayogini, O Goddess Katyayani, we beseech for your mercy to bless us so that we may attain Shyam Sundar as our eternal beloved. Upon the completion of their prayers, the omniscient Bhagwan Shri Krishna appeared in front of them to grant them a boon to fulfill their desires. The important thing to note, Shri Krishna himself appeared because he knew that the Gopis were worshipping him under the pretext of worshipping Katyayani Devi. A devotee's intention to surrender oneself does not complete the process, just like preparatory devotion, the sadhana bhakti. This is an action done with material mind. Surrender too is an action of material mind. A devotee, an aspirant can surrender everything except oneself. Finally, it's up to God, and God accepts one's determination of self-surrender. Just the intention. He takes away both the feelings of having surrendered and the very existence of surrendered soul. At this point, the lover and the beloved become one. A devotee has to prepare oneself and make a firm resolution to surrender completely onto his lotus feet. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. This mantra is the ultimate mantra of submission, surrendering. Finally, God accepts that surrender and makes it perfect and complete. The exclusive purpose behind all the Leelas of Sri Krishna is to put forth an ideal and to teach a lesson to mankind. In this Leelas, he did not transgress any modesty. Rather, he put forth the highest ideal of modesty. The Gopis were bathing in the river without any clothes or any covering on their bodies. Bathing in the open without covering oneself is a sin as per the scriptures. It's an insult to the Lord Varun, the Varun Devta. Lord Shri Krishna made them realize their error and chastised them for the same. Eventually, the Gopis came in front of Shri Krishna, trying to cover themselves with their hands and their eyes lowered in shame and embarrassment, who firmly know and believe that Bhagwan Shri Krishna is the Supreme God, and who have accepted Shri Krishna as their soul and constantly desire for his eternal association. They are hesitant to come out uncovered in front of Shri Krishna. Is this not a sign of incomplete surrender? Absolutely, it is incomplete. Despite having pure sentiments, they were unable to achieve the rewards of self-surrender. Bhagwan Shri Krishna reminded them of the ultimate objective of their steadfast devotion to him and asked them the reasons behind trying to maintain their privacy. The Gopis said, "O beloved, O Pranavallabh, we want to leave the decorum of society for you. Yet our bad impression, the sanskars of many previous lives are preventing us from doing so. We are helpless, O Shri Krishna." They looked up at the Lord Krishna and their hands naturally came together to pay their respects and seek his blessings. They forgot all about covering and also who should be covered. They simultaneously forgot about their surrender and the surrendering entity as well. Their devotion reached the pinnacle of perfection, and all barriers between them and Bhagwan Shri Krishna were completely extinct. Lord Krishna brought them back to their physical consciousness and returned their clothes as well. He also gave them an assurance he will fulfill their desire exactly 1 year from this day. That day was none other than the unparalleled supreme bliss of the Maharas. Shri Krishna was only 9 years old at this time. He brought their pursuit to completion and returned their clothes without touching them. A year later, on the night of Sharad Purnima, he showered the nectar of Maharas on these Gopis along with other deserving souls. We should have firm faith and belief Krishna is divine. His pastimes and attributes are also divine. The sole purpose behind each of his pastimes is to establish an ideal in front of the society, teach us the true meaning of surrender, which is Atmanivedan, and grant pleasure to his soul-surrendered devotees. Happy Gopmaas.